This is an interesting conversation here. Sana Amanat, who is, for those of us that are tied to the comic book community, and even in the gaming space as well, see her as a person that has had, that not everybody knows, but has had a great hand in fucking up nerd culture because she's a talentless hack that hyper-emphasizes elements of social justice. That's just the only reason why she's here. She created characters like Miss Marvel, aka Kamala Harris Khan, who was only created as a self-insert, essentially. And she had to say something that was just completely retarded, but she believes just because it needs to be true. Sana Amanat, creator of Kamala Khan, has said that this character, Stretchy McGee, though she's not going to be used as Stretchy McGee, she has these cosmic kind of powers based on these like nigga bands. I don't know if those are actually what those are, but way to bite off fucking everything from OG Captain Marvel to Quasar, and having these sort of cosmic powers. She's not Stretchy McGee. But she's saying that she's on par with the top fucking heroes of the MCU. They're trying to speak it into existence, guys. Although Miss Marvel protagonist Kamala Khan will be a new hero in the MCU, the character's co-creator Sana Amanat says Kamala is on the same level as the franchise bigger name heroes. Amanat brought up the comparison while speaking to Total Film, said Kamala is a young character who is very much a fan of the big wigs of the Marvel Universe, like the Avengers, and she doesn't feel necessarily like she can stand toe to toe with them. But I think ultimately she can and does. Sana Amanat mentioned Amanat's mention of Kamala being a superhero fan ties into this earlier of her being a fan of like Miss Marvel or formerly Miss Marvel and Carol Danvers, who is now Captain Marvel or cosplaying as. Much like the character, Kamala Khan actor is also a fan of Marvel and blah, 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 blah. She showed me every corner of her room during her audition on Zoom, and it was covered with Avengers. Then she said, oh, wait, I'm not done. Opened her chest, and there was more Marvel everywhere. Of course, they talked about being the MCU's first Muslim hero, and that's something that they're going to be focusing on, I think, relatively closely, because that's another box that they can certainly check. This character is not interested at all, but they certainly can focus on that if they want to. So, this is what's happening. It's like with a lot of these different characters that are going to be popping up that nobody asked for. Kate Bishop. And when I say popping up, I mean being in prominent roles. Kate Bishop. Ironheart's on the way. America Chavez on the way. We got Captain Marvel. We got fucking Kamala Khan. Characters that nobody asked for. And like I've said before, a lot of creators of these goofy ass characters are very, very upset and irate at the fact that their characters will never be in a position, period, to be liked and loved like the characters of old that have been around for decades. Reason being is because they don't know how to create them. They can't make them interesting. And they would never accept that they're lousy at their jobs. It's more, well, remember, it's something wrong with the audience. That's why people feel the way that it is that they feel. And we have to try to speak it into existence to put these characters in a position of prominence, despite the actual supporters of these characters, or not lack thereof, let's say the supporters of the industry. They've mildly rejected these characters as anything remotely interesting. Okay. Look, and I'm giving them my word of advice because I'm going to show them how it's done, even though I'm not working for Marvel or DC. You can give people, even these characters that have these various different backgrounds, right? You could give them, they can be known and loved, and they could compete with the likes of the bigger characters. But you can't speak that into existence. It's not for you to make the decision on. That's for the customers to make the decision on. But when you try to lead with this moronic idea, like, well, she can be right up there with these goofy characters. We know that can't be the case, but we also know that you can't speak that into existence. You can try. And they have shown enough tried. Marvel has, with this character, putting them in positions that they never should be in. Let's say that. Giving them all sorts of resources to try to make them into prominent characters, even though the customers have largely rejected them. But it's because they don't like the idea that at the end of the day, you will never be up there with the likes of these heroes. Like the top, because think about it, the top tier heroes in the MCU are characters that have been created long before, hell, even these people were alive. But what they haven't been able to connect the dots on is why those characters were able to stick around, or rather why those characters had been interesting enough to, even through Marvel's trials and tribulations, were able to be mainstays. That's the part that the modern comic book creator does not understand. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.